So I had this thought today where I was thinking about covering this video because I saw half of it before I even started to watch with you. This is from the Humanist Report, who is gay, but he makes a video that I so disagree fundamentally with this video. And it kind of sides with Kyle Kalinski's, they go low, we go lower kind of mentality when it comes to Republicans versus Democrats or progressives. And I just think like this, whatever this is the worst of humanity. The worst of humanity believes in they go low, we go lower. I'm sorry. You cannot be on the right side of history and go lower. That's not the way you seek liberation, by being dirtier than the enemy. Like, and then who is the enemy, right? In a world where we have no enemies, I have no enemies. So why would I go lower? That's the point, right? Now, I think I was having this thought that every edgy joke I've ever made, every point in my life that I deeply regret was because of internalized misogyny and a lot of like self-hate I had as a AFAB person in the world. I really do think I am a boy, but I also really do recognize that I'm a girl, and I recognize that I exist in the world. And I say girl and boy for a very specific reason rather than man and woman, because even though that's true, there's something about girl boy that plays into the immaturity of it all that I think is like really prevalent and important. But it feels like all my life I was seeking like truth, but I was like, well, I can rough it with the boys. I can be as edgy and offensive as they are, and I could, but where did it get me? Nowhere. Did not make me feel good, did not make me wiser, did not make me feel better. So as we move into today's first video, I just want you to keep that in mind, that all these boys, all these men, all these boys, their suggestion is to use misogynistic language to prove the Republicans are worse than them. Like, you want to prove that you're better than the Republicans, so your only way of proving that is to be worse than them? Okay, girl. So let's talk about it, because I do think a lot of patriarchal belief systems are being reflected in this strategy, and I will not stand for it. And that's why I moved to philosophy versus politics, because philosophy comes before these systems and these structures, and these systems and structures are deeply rooted in patriarchal beliefs. And so for me, like, any of the solutions that helps you win in politics is only playing on the patriarchy, i.e. this video. Okay, let's start with this video. Humanist Report, normally like their content, but really disagree with this one.
Well, it seems like some fellow leftist content creators are facing backlash for a variety of reasons, oddly all at the same time. So I decided it was important for me to swoop in and defend them all, since one, of course, I would do that, seeing as how these are my people, and I've also been attacked for similar reasons. And two, because I actually do think that there are important takeaways from all of these individual incidents. So let's start with Kyle Kalinski first, host of Secular Talk, who set off a firestorm over the weekend for doing what he does best: shitposting. So on Halloween, he shared the Spirit Halloween costume meme featuring the late Charlie Kirk's wife, calling it the fake grieving widow grifter costume, including fake teardrops and skin-tight black.
Okay, let's look at this, right? So, okay, I want to start talking about something that I think is really important, has been coming up in my own like life, and then obviously here online, well, mostly just online, but jokes in public versus jokes in private. There are ways without, again, this video is not to signal to racists or conservatives or Republicans or homophobes or transphobes. Your jokes you tell in private because you're secretly racist have nothing to do with this conversation, okay? If you are a progressive, there are jokes you make in private that are not real. They're not rooted in a belief. They're just like, oh yeah, that's kind of like, I get it. But you would never post it online because it overall sends a really negative message that does not help combat the patriarchy or systematic racism or any of the bad things we're trying to fight, right? So I understand, like, the joke is, because Erica Kirk is just a very odd human. I try not to judge how people grieve. She is definitely grieving in ways that do not signal to my brain authenticity. But to be and identify as a shit poster when we're talking about something so serious is the issue I see in politics. Identifying as a political pundit or talking, or like a talking head or what's the word I want? What's the word I want? When you're representative. Thank you. Oh my God. When you're saying I am somebody to pay attention to, and this is how I'm going to use my platform, it just feels really, really bad and not good. So Kyle, fake grieving widow. And then I get it. You don't have to like the woman. I don't even care if you talk badly about the woman, but how you talk badly about her, depending on your position of privilege or power, is very important. So I do not think this is what I want from people that are serious or think they're serious. Okay. But I would care less if this was like shared in the group chat in private. Right. But like, you know, whatever, like I get it. Like, she's unlikable. It's hard to imagine she cares about her husband. Right? The jokes about Candace Owens caring more about Charlie Kirk than his own wife. I've seen them. I get it. Okay.
Other morning pants, and it didn't go over too well for obvious reasons. The New York Post published an article titled "Left-Wing Podcaster Sparks Outrage with Meme Depicting Erica Kirk as Fake Grieving."
I just don't want to hear the Republicans act like they're better than this when they make some of the most disgusting memes out there, say the most disgusting things when the White House itself tweeted kidnapping people off the streets to the, you know, gotta catch 'em all theme song. So that's the problem. I don't want to hear any criticism towards Kyle Kalinske from any of these fucking people. But from me, I will criticize. From the progressives, we can criticize. But Republicans have nothing to stand on, given their how disgusting they are. But we can criticize Kyle because it's like, hey, I expect you to be better than this. I don't expect the Republicans to be better. But I would hope that we would expect progressives to be better. But see how they're not? But they're not. Are they real progressives? Is Kyle Kalinske truly philosophically a progressive? I don't think so.
Widow grifter. The Mirror writes, podcaster sparks outrage over Erica Kirk Halloween costume meme. A meme shared by a left-wing podcaster has sparked a storm of reactions online, leaving many questioning the boundaries of satire and taste. And the Daily Mail, among other outlets, also reported on his tweet, writing, furious podcaster posts meme calling Erica Kirk a fake grieving widow grifter. Republican Senator Mike Lee even joined the chorus of pearl clutchers, saying, how would the media respond to this post had Charlie Kirk been a Democrat? I'd imagine that they wouldn't talk about it at all. But that's just a couple of examples of the outrage that Kyle's tweet sparked, and we would be here all fucking day if we went through all of them. But I'm assuming that—
Is Kyle Kalinske gay? I actually don't know his sexual orientation. Is he gay or is he straight? Does anybody know?
all of the triggered Republicans who are trying to cancel Kyle don't know that he actually earned lifelong immunity from cancellation on Twitter because of a tweet that he wrote about Nancy Mace back on December 10th of last year, where he astutely points out, that's a lot of beans, you nasty ass bitch.
Misogyny. He's married to a woman. Thank you, chat. Misogyny. He said, that's a lot of beans, you nasty ass bitch. I am so sick of men calling women bitch. You're not allowed to. Your bitch card revoked. Okay? I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely turning into my mother but progressive. Listen, Republicans who don't say bitch, you can talk to Jesus about that. But in my bubble, absolutely not. The way these men feel so confident throwing slurs at women, I'm tired. No, you're not allowed to say it anymore. I'm revoking everyone's consent. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I get it. This woman is detestable. Fundamentally disagree with her. But you are not allowed to use a slur towards a woman because you feel this is Vosh all over again with J.K. Rowling. You are not allowed to engage in misogyny in the name of protecting women. Like, you are not allowed to do that. Okay? You cannot do that. Also, shout out to Beans. We love Beans. Okay?
And I don't know if people know this yet, but if you put out an all-timer like that, you're literally allowed to tweet whatever you want going forward forever. Those are the rules.
Do you remember when Sargana Vakad tweeted at a politician? She was fighting against rape culture, and he said, don't worry, I wouldn't even rape you. And he got banned. That's because you cannot make these comments. And he's like, what's the big deal? And everybody was like, oh, yeah, not funny. This is not good. This is shit, bro. It's a bad, you shouldn't be able to tweet this. And this is bad.
I don't make them, I just abide by them. But in response to the backlash, Kyle responded by doing the exact thing that you are required to do in moments like this, by doubling down. For example, he responded to Mike Lee saying, shut your snowflake bitch ass up. Edgy jokes are fine for you, but not for leftists. Based Mike Lee votes for endless war and stealing healthcare from 17 million people, but I'm the problem. Fuck you. Retire, you cunt.
Obviously, very misogynistic language, right? Shut the fuck up, bitch ass. Shut your snowflake bitch ass up. That's a word. That's words. Okay. Bitch ass up. Don't like that. And then he said, fuck you, like retire, you cunt. Don't like that. Don't like any of those things. Okay. Don't like any of those things. Don't think that's good. Not a fan. You know what I mean? And like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we are so unserious. The world is so unserious. Okay. We're just so unserious. And I understand that in his head, he is thinking the worst I've done is say some slurs and cussed at a person. But the worst these people have done is taken 17 million people's like healthcare away. I get you. I'm here for that. I hear you. But like, This is just not it. Okay? It's not it. Chat says, is bitch ass the same as just the B word? How do we feel? Well, it depends on how it's used, but generally, what's bitch ass mean? Isn't bitch ass a play on the idea that like you're a pussy? So therefore it's like you're feminine? I mean, where's the root of it, right? And again, I don't care. We're not talking about you in your personal life. We're talking about people who are in positions of power and leadership. And this is how they're representing themselves. Like, you want the clout, you want the money, you want the status, you want to be somebody that politicians pay attention to. And this is how Trump gets elected. Whether you like it or not, like the libs and the Democrats, like this whole like myth that American politics have ever been good. We know the founding fathers were throwing left and rights. They were absolutely talking shit on each other, spreading rumors about each other. Okay. So at the end of the day, like, just a reminder that it's always been like this, but that's kind of my point. We keep doing the same things over and over again while pretending we're not. So the Democrats in the Humanist Report will talk about it, where he's like, well, this isn't like your grandma's politics. We have to adapt. Girl, it's always been this way though. You are just repeating cycles. Can we do something new this time around? I want the Democrats to go full chest progressive, say we're going to fight for people, period, no compromise. And if the compromise feels like compromise with you because you want to take away rights from 17 million people to get health care, then we're not doing the same thing. But they're not doing that. They keep trying to compromise with Republicans. Republican policy is not good for Americans. It is not helping us. Okay. Even, who was it? That guy I don't like, Klein, Ezra Klein, talking about putting up a pro-life Democrat. Sit down. See how he's not doing it with his full chest, pro-choice, medical care for all. Fuck you. No compromise. Medical care for all. Fuck you. Instead, it's, well, if we can get a pro-life Democrat up, that'd be great. Don't insult anyone's intelligence here, including Republicans. You think Republican voters don't know what you're doing? You think they're stupid enough to fall for that? Stop trying to trick them. It's not going to work. Okay. And I know you're thinking they're stupid because they voted for Trump, but they're not that stupid. Okay. Okay, don't even try that. Thank you.
And he shared a screenshot of the joke that Mike Lee made in the aftermath of Melissa Hordman's assassination. Kyle also went back to shitposting immediately, sharing this AI-generated image of Erica Kirk.
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but everyone's saying that Erica Kirk is going to get with JD and JD's going to leave his brown wife for her and da-da-da-da-da-da. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. The white supremacy is just like so loud. But at the end of the day, like, you're a public figure. Is this the standard we want to keep? Right? And is this what we want? Like, hopefully fucking not, And
JD Vance getting married, which is a reference to the original discourse that Kyle was joining in on with his Halloween meme in the first place, where people were talking about Erica Kirk and JD Vance's intimate hug and bizarre.
This is where the leather pants came from, by the way, guys. She was literally wearing that outfit. I understand. She came out looking kind of like a Dami mommy a little bit. And then she hugged JD Vance with his hand behind his head. And I do understand it's crazy. I need you to understand. I 100% do understand how crazy it looks. I can't stop laughing looking at it. But I didn't send out a tweet. Okay, I don't even have an X account. I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Kyle Kulinski could have laughed. He could have sent it to his friends, but he didn't. He posted it on the internet. So again, I get that it's funny. It is funny, but like, still.
Comments that they both made. For one, she said, "No one will ever replace my husband, but I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do." And to make matters even more weird, JD Vance made a disparaging remark about his own wife, saying that he hoped that she dropped the Hinduism and converted to Christianity. So
allegedly, I saw a clip where he talked about his wife and how when he met her, she wasn't Christian. And I don't know why he got with his wife. I don't know why she got with JD. Who knows why people fall in love with who they fall in love with and then make babies?
Of course, the internet started to speculate about whether or not he was emotionally cheating on his wife with Erica in the aftermath of suspicious comments that both of them had made. It led to a lot of online shitposting that Kyle himself participated in. But it's not the first time that Kyle had tweets that got him embroiled in controversy, and I can assure you, it's definitely not going to be the last. And to that I say, good. Go off, King. Talk that shit. Those of us in this space on the left have had to...
Are you ready? This is the part I just disagree with him on.
develop very thick skin in order to survive in online spaces that have been very hostile towards us at certain times, which is why we've become somewhat immune to the right's pearl clutching and tone policing. And that explains why the barrage of denunciations and death threats don't scare us into backing down.
Okay, pause there. He mentioned tone policing. We talked about tone policing like last week on stream, right? Only we were talking about race. In this case, he's talking about politics, expectations. And it's true that the right weaponizes, okay? And they tone police and they do all these things. But pause. If no Republicans heard this conversation and no conservatives were in on it, and it was just us all talking, do we agree that this is the best way to show up? Again, when I tell you, imagine yourself on an island, I'm not making it literal. I'm asking you to ask yourself, if Republicans didn't exist and your whole existence wasn't reactionary, is this the way you would act? Is this good? Is this the way you want to show up? Is this the way Uncle Ira would show up? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is this good? And if your whole life is reactionary, you're doing something wrong. And that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing all of these people. Oh, Discord said this is a misuse of the word tone policing. Is tone policing specifically? Explain it to me, Discord. I'll read it out loud. So what I'm trying to get people to understand is, like, if their whole life is reactionary, then it's wrong. Being a reactionary is never the right decision. Okay? And so it feels like these boys are doing it together and they're like, we have to do this. We have thick skin. This whole place is evil and we have to be as evil as them to be good. This is literally the meme, dictatorship is bad, but what if I was the dictator? That is Kyle Klinsky in Humanist Report right now. What's Humanist Report's name, actually? People gotta say their names. Did he say his name at the beginning? I've watched like 10 of his videos and 20 of his videos, 30, and I still have not learned his name. It's so hard for me to learn people's names. That's why I say my name at the start of every video. Did he say his name and I forgot, guys? What's his name? I keep calling him Humanist Report. Discord said, no, it's fucking gross. I don't get how it's different to the bloody Jackie Kennedy costumes. Oh, don't even get me started. I want to talk about that too, probably tomorrow. But that was disgusting. Julia Fox showing up in that Jackie Kennedy costume is disgusting. And for her to try to double down and act like it was some progressive feminist statement, I'm so sick of these fucking performers. I'm so sick of these fake fucking people. And so we'll talk about that probably tomorrow. Annoying. Okay. Very annoying.
And I've been in Kyle's predicament before myself. In fact, back in 2022, J.K. Rowling put me on blast for calling.
So J.K. Rowling says, me shares a video of experienced psychiatrist who turned whistleblower expressing his deep concern at high numbers of autistic children and children with internalized homophobia presenting at gender clinics. Them. You repulsive bigot. Go fuck yourself. Transphobic trash. Okay, listen. I feel you when you're angry and you feel this way in your home. It is still not the answer. J.K. Rowling is repulsive, okay? Her lack of deconstruction, introspection, her decision to be transphobic, her decision to be just like deplorable, her decision to engage with the worst people in the world, okay? I don't understand why you would wake up and still tweet this. You repulsive bigot, go fuck yourself, transphobic trash. It is not healthy. For you, Habibis, for you. I'm not talking about J.K. Rowling. This has nothing to do with protecting a bigot. For you, Habibi, why is this good for you? Why is this good for your skin? Why is this good for your health? Did you save your world? Did you save yourself? Did you save somebody today? Did it help you? Have you meditated? Do you feel more centered? Or no, do you feel trapped in the same cycle years later? How is this helping you? Not them. This isn't about protecting bigots. Is it helping you? I don't think so. He said this happened a couple years ago, okay, 2022. He's still in the same position now. How has it helped you? Okay, make it make sense. Discourse said definition, tone policing is the practice of Hold on, Brittany. I gotta breathe. Hold on, I'm losing my oxygen here. Tone policing is the practice of dismissing an argument by focusing on the speaker's emotional or angry tone instead of addressing the substance of their message. What was the substance of that man's tweet? Exactly. Thank you. Now, I think it's true that Republicans try to weaponize. Okay, they weaponize and they go like they'll say something racist. And then when you do it, they're like, oh, but see, why are we even doing anything racist? Oh, why are we even doing anything racist? If we're doing something homophobic or transphobic to make a point and the Republicans go like, oh, isn't that transphobic? Yeah, bitch, it kind of probably is. See, I just said bitch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it probably is. Why are we doing what they're doing and be like, we can do it though? No, we can't do it either. We're not supposed to be doing it. And how embarrassing for a Republican to call you out. You should be ashamed. How embarrassing to get called out by the right. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And that's the point. It's like, you are not embarrassed enough for me. And this is why I say being a minority isn't enough. You have to deconstruct. You have to deconstruct. You have to pull it apart and decide why did it end up being this way? How do I understand it? How do I understand the details? And then how do I make it better? It's just ridiculous. Okay, back to the video.
Out her transphobia in an impolite way, we'll say. And in 2024, I made my infamous "fuck his family too" tweet in response to collective outrage about jokes made about United Health CEO Brian Thompson's assassination. Conservative commentators like Anna Kasparian tried to use my shitpost as an example of the left's supposed lack of
What is this shitpost word? What does he mean when he says shitpost? Because to me, shitpost mean it's nothing of substance. It's just meant to like ruffle feathers and fuck with people. It's a shitpost. It's not real. So why are you engaging with it and taking a position of leadership or power? Or, why should people watch you if you're just a shit poster? How are you any better than the boys who play video games and jump on every hate Hassan trend they can just to make views? What is the difference here? Why did they think this is the answer to the issues we're facing as a nation? How is this helpful? And you know why? Because it goes viral and makes views. Okay, that's why they do it, because it's fun to fight with people on Twitter. It's fun to fight with people. It makes them popular, it makes them go viral, or it builds their shit. People want to be angry, and the progressives are not exempt from this. Though I would argue, like, how progressive are you? Because if you were to be angry, could you be angry at injustice, please? Right? Like, can you be angry at injustice, please? Like, I would rather see you turn that anger, but you're not angry. You're angry because you feel like you have nothing to do. There are so many things we could be doing right now in so many different ways. And the ways aren't all the same for all of us. They're just different. It just feels like this is not one of the ways that's helping us. This is not helping the community. This is just helping you feel better. And that's not going to help us.
Concern for working class victims of violent crime, which is a total non sequitur, by the way, but I doubled down and explained that the people condemning me were hypocrites, seeing as how the slain CEO that they were defending never had any regard for the families of his victims who died because they didn't get
right. But like, you not having sympathy for his family you're just doing what he's doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Doing what your enemy is doing and then being like, I'm better than the enemy, sir. Right? Like, what are we talking about here? Okay, and again, this is a philosophy channel, y'all. So just FYI, I want to actually solve the problem at the root. Politics is not the root. Politics is a distraction. So if you're coming in today's chat thinking you're going to be like super political in the chat, you do you. But like, this is a philosophy channel. Okay, philosophy through pop culture. And we are trying to actually get down to the root of people's turmoil, their suffering, right? We want to suffer wisely. So again, him being like, oh, I can go for this guy's family because this guy went for other people's families. Nobody should be going for anybody's family. Like, it's one thing to say maybe his family is complicit. I was thinking about this today with Nepo babies. Would you, if you were born into a celebrity family and you were getting 5 to 10 to 15K a month from your rich parents who were unethical, would you say no to that money and make it on your own? Or would you take your Nepo baby money because... you know what I mean? Like, you have to survive under capitalism, Like, think about that. Like, think about that idea of, like, when do you put a line in the sand of, like, what your father does or what your mother does or what your family does? Now, a lot of people do. A lot of people cut themselves off from their rich families and they go make it on their own. A lot of people say, like, I'm not cool with how my parents made money, right? A lot of people do that. So, like, you can make that decision, but I tend to be more realistic with sort of, like, what I think people are going through. And though I think that's a great amazing testament to your value system, I hardly think most people are having that relationship with their value system, right? Let's see. Brittany, welcome to memberships. Happy to have you here. Chad says, I'd like to think of it not as one direction, but several, like mycelium through the soil. It branches out in many ways, but stays in communication. Ooh, all the little fungi networks trying their best to help the forest grow. Ooh, beautiful. Discord said shitpost is like a more stupid form of rage bait, I think. Well, it feels like it, girl. It feels like it. Okay, back to the vid.
The healthcare that they needed. Did I receive death threats and denunciations? Of course I did. Did I care? Absolutely not. Because we are in an era where being offensive and crass is the only way leftists can break the hold that right-wingers have on—
Boo, boo. Men are so basic. You're basic. Men are so basic. Jesus fucking Christ. Men are so basic. Listen to him.
We're in an era where being offensive and crass is the only way leftists can break the hold that right-wingers have on our political discourse. The days of when they go low, we go high are long gone. And our survival as a political bloc hinges on our ability to match the right's energy. This is something that the left has learned that Democrats seemingly have not learned. And in a recent video, Kyle actually made a really salient point about this topic, where he talks about the political climate that conservatives are now denouncing.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would you
so
be
sorry.
glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died.
Let me explain something to you guys. These are women who, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they were watching Ellen DeGeneres on daytime TV. These are grandmas who pick their kids up from soccer practice, who make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the morning. And look at how they're talking. Look, what I want to say to the right is, you had your chance, right? Like, it was Michelle Obama, the first lady, who very famously came out and said, when they go low, we go high. And that was the fucking mantra of the Democratic Party. We could not have ended up in this place if Republicans didn't double down, triple down, quadruple down, quintuple down, over and over and over in saying, we don't believe in compromise, we don't believe in negotiation, we don't believe in diplomacy, we don't believe in bipartisanship, we don't believe in good faith discussions and conversations. It 100% is on the right. And this is the impact of Trump. The other thing is, what is Trump known for? Trump's known for, I never fucking apologize. I never apologize. Fuck you. Fuck your feelings. I'm a bull in a china shop. I say what I want. I have no fucking filter. It is what it is. Deal with it, you stupid lib. Go ahead. You want to cry about it? Go ahead and cry about it. Well, now, all those qualities and characteristics, liberals and leftists finally realize, okay, in order to fucking play by the same rules, we got to be like that now.
And he is 1,000% correct. I mean,
Okay, obviously he's not correct. Democrats never actually went high when Republicans went low. They were lukewarm at best. They never 100% with their full chest came out and said, no, we're not compromising on this. We're not compromising on American civil rights. We're not compromising on people's ability to show up. We're not compromising on people's safety. We're not compromising. They always wishy-washy. That's why they were frustrating. And now, okay, so this is what they want you to do. So this was the answer, right? And this is why human beings are slow. This is why I say I love the community, but y'all are moving too fucking slow for me. So I will run ahead of you and I will come back and pull you up. But at the same time, I'm not waiting for you because you're too fucking slow for me. So let's pretend life was linear. Okay, as we often do. Okay, so here are the Republicans, here are the liberals, here are the progressives. So basically, the Republicans, okay, they're one way. And actually, hold on. The liberals pretended. The Democrats were like, we go high when Republicans, they go low. But the truth is the Republicans or the Democrats, they stayed here in this sphere. Okay, which allowed them, hold on, there's a wall here. They allowed them to still interact with the Republicans. They never even attempted to go this way. And I don't want to hear anybody say AOC in the chat, bros. Okay, fuck off. So this is like their version. Okay, and then even AOC, girl, let's not even pretend. Okay, she's right here. She's all like, okay, well, maybe. She's like, okay, maybe. Okay, no. So again, we want to move people forward. You can't do that by going backwards. And Kyle Kulinski and Humanist Report, they're like, this sounds good, but how about we do this instead? How about we don't? Okay? How about we don't and say we did? Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you're literally like, this looks really great. Oh my God, let's even go beyond progressivism, right? That sounds fire. But actually, let's go back to making misogynistic tweets and calling people bitch. Let's go back to calling women bitch. Good job, guys. You really nailed it this time. Okay, no, this is not the answer. The answer is never to go backwards. It's always to move forward. Progress. We want to progress forward. So no, I'm not going to let these men slide about calling women bitch on the internet. You're not allowed to do it anymore. And if I hear you do it, yeah, okay, you can't do it anymore. Period.
Just personally speaking, the levels of normie lib radicalization that I've seen are off the charts. And even if you go back and look at Humanist Report videos that I was putting out like 10 years ago, I was sending well wishes to Scalia's family after he passed away. I was correcting myself when I said that I hated Republicans. I think I said that was too strong of a word and I didn't want to be divisive. But as you can see, I think I'm a little bit rougher around the edges. And that's because times have changed and I've had to adapt. And you either adapt or you die. We're all products of our environment and we're pissed off right now. And when
guys, don't ask me political questions in the chat. Ask me philosophical ones. The Democrats philosophically are wishy-washy. Okay? That's the issue. You're like out here in my chat being like, biggest infrastructure bill 2050, net carbon, blah, 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 blah. Bros, this isn't a political channel. They've been wishy-washy with their values. What are your values, and are you going to step 10 toes on it? Or are you going to, compromise with evil in some concept, in some way? Which I understand, philosophically speaking, we've all compromised with evil, okay? So you have to think about it from that perspective. Politics is about winning. It's not about what's truth or what's good for people. And that's why I say this is just the proof of it. This is not good, okay? This is not good. This isn't good. This isn't good. Okay?
Getting back the country necessitates the total humiliation of the people who got us where we are in the first place. That means we kind of have to ruthlessly mock them at every chance we get in order to condition the rest of society to view them with the contempt that they deserve. Like, I would much rather talk about policy and the things that I want to do to improve the country. But Republicans proved that delegitimizing opponents is something that you have to do to win the game of politics. Like, we're playing a game that they forced us to play based on the new rules that they set. Like, we didn't ask for this. None of us asked for this. But they're the OG fuck your feelings people, and they've proven that that's a pretty good strategy.
Actually, Discord said, when did playing by the rules of politics get us free? My ancestors are waiting for the answer. That's the point. Women are waiting. Black communities are waiting. Gay people are waiting. Trans people are waiting. Stop trying to play by political rules and be better, but don't go low. So their idea is like, fuck the rules, we're gonna go low. Don't go low, go high. Go high, go higher than we've ever gone before. Bring philosophy into it, bring kindness into it, bring compassion into it. Don't become disgusting. Don't be like, ooh, are they swimming in the garbage? Let me jump in there with them. Girl, let them swim in the garbage. You focus moving forward. Stop it, all of us are waiting. All of us are literally waiting, and you're like, I'm gonna go swim in shit with them. Why? Why would you do this to us? Now, I have a question. Is Humanist Report, I know he's gay, is he queer? Where is the queer politics in this? You know what I mean? I'm not getting it. I'm not seeing it.
Demonstrating the effectiveness of that strategy now with their meltdowns over Kyle Kalinski's tweet. Like, they don't like getting a taste of their own medicine, and that just proves why we have to give them a taste of their own medicine. We have to force them to lie the bed that they made for all of us. And it's not just internet edgelords like Kyle from Secular Talk and Mike from the Humanist Report saying things like this. It's also respected elected officials like
No. Chat says you guys are talking to each other. Brittany wants to follow a virtue from her believing the opposites of good and evil. Philosophical evil is out of sync with your joy. Okay, I don't believe in good and bad in the way that typical people do, but I do believe that people engage in philosophical evil because they're not engaging in deconstruction, introspection, extrospection. This is philosophical evil. They are engaging, Kyle Kalinski and Humanist Report are engaging in philosophical evil. Whether they believe it or not, this is not your joy. This is not where you find your joy. You are not you are not exhibiting like some deep understanding of the human condition. You are just showing up and your whole life is centered around what the Republicans are doing. Who cares what they're doing when it comes to, philosophical joy and goodness?
AOC, who called on people to ruthlessly mock fascists like Stephen Miller, because like us, she also realizes the futility in trying to engage with them in 2010 era style politics of persuasion and respectability.
So he's saying even AOC wants us to engage in this. It's like, okay, but like AOC also has her problems. We all do. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. I also am tempted to engage with like clapbacks and, insults. I'm saying I am trying to get out of that because it's not helping. It feels good temporarily. It's a cathartic temporarily, but it doesn't heal the soul. It doesn't heal our experience. We all want to engage in it. You're not special because you have a clapback on Twitter, stupid. See, I just did it right there. Ooh, that felt good. Oh, that felt so good. Okay, so I get it, girl. It feels good. It feels so good. It's not the answer. It's not the answer. It's not the answer. It's not the answer. It's not the answer.
It just doesn't work. But I want to move on to the next leftist content creator who is facing additional scrutiny as of late. And that individual is Hasan Piker, because he's always in hot water for something. And no, I'm not going to respond to cynical and bad faith claims that he used the shock collar on his dog when he did not do that. I want to talk about how billionaires are using Zoran Mamdani's association with Hasan Piker as a gotcha in service of Andrew Cuomo. Now, you already know that Andrew Cuomo name dropped Piker at a debate, but in a last-ditch effort to tank Mamdani's campaign, they're now trying to tie him to the most controversial comment that Piker made 6 years ago in a new ad. And when I say ad, I mean like they actually put out an ad tying Mamdani to Hasan Piker. This is wild to watch, but nonetheless, take a look.
America deserved 9/11, dude.
That's Zoran's buddy, Hasan Piker, saying we deserve 9/11. It's a disgrace to every life lost. Zoran went on Piker's show, and now Piker was just spotted at Zoran's event. Mamdani is wrong for New York, paid for by 4R City.
Jesus Christ. So they're basically...
First of all, hilarious ad. Second of all, you know what I mean? Like Republicans haven't said worse, but also... Hassan could have said that in a way that was like deeply philosophical and beautiful, but he said it in the way streamers talk. So obviously it's like, you know what I mean? What? Chad said I saw that ad every 5 minutes last night on the news. I'm fucking dead. Republicans really love to fucking fund shit. Chad says I think kindness and niceness are good things, but they cannot ever be the standard. Hi, are you a psychopath? Are you a psychopath? Because that's literally a psychopath statement. Hi, hello. Have you absolutely lost touch with your humanity? Hello, ma'am. Did I misread your comment? I think that kindness and niceness are good things, but they cannot ever be the standard. Hi. Y'all are psychopaths. Y'all are literally the reason the world is the way that it is. That's what I'm saying. The fact that you're normalizing it is crazy to me. You said, what if people believe in something that is inhumane? How do you speak to them? What are you even on about? Habibi, why are you watching my channel? Who are you? I've never seen this username. Who is this person? Okay, what are you talking about? We are trying to focus on, like, obviously this cannot be the answer. Again, talk smack with your friends in private. But you are showing up as a public figure with some sort of, like, status. This is not the vibe. Okay?
Trotting out the same playbook that they used back in 2008 to tie Obama to Reverend Wright. It didn't work then, and I can assure you it's
not.
And
by the way, I don't want you to be nice, girl. I want you to be right. Just for the record, niceness is fake as shit. I want you to be right, not nice. They're not right. They are wrong. This is not the answer. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Chad says, sorry, I'm autistic. It seems relevant. Sorry, I'm autistic too. Autism on autism crime right now, girls. That's what's happening right here. Fine. Listen. You are not stronger because you are more ruthless. You are not braver because you're willing to say shitty things to people. Okay? You are not smarter because you can go lower. Okay? It takes a great deal of discipline to be a better person. It's very hard to die a good person. And I am trying to get as many people to die good people as possible. And yes, that even means dying preemptively because bad people are a little stronger than you. Better to die a good person than to live longer and die a bad one. Okay? That's the point. Okay? Tap into that Vinland Saga season 2, baby.
Not going to work now, especially because you can easily do the same thing. Like, you can use that same playbook against Cuomo, albeit to greater effect. For example, Cuomo was just on Logan Paul's podcast, who's been embroiled in multiple controversies and was even sued in a class action lawsuit for an alleged crypto scam. But worse, Cuomo joined genocide heir Benjamin Netanyahu's legal team to defend him against crimes against humanity at the ICC. So, objectively speaking, what's worse, defending a war criminal accused of genocide or being a guest on the stream of somebody who made edgy comments? I mean, I think that voters are going to be the ultimate judge in the end, but this strategy simply doesn't work in 2025 because politicians are increasingly learning that there is value in going on podcasts and Twitch streams. But if you want access to their platforms, you have to put aside the edgy jokes and controversies that they've been embroiled in. It's something that Cuomo understood by choosing himself to go on Logan Paul's podcast. Quite a controversial figure. But ironically, it was more controversial for Logan Paul to platform Cuomo.
I understand. I wanted to watch it today, but we're not going to get to it. I wanted to watch Zoran on Flagrant because I was curious how he did in the boy bubbles. And listen, like, I understand that as a public figure, you want to go on as many podcasts as possible to get your message out to as many people as possible. So I understand as a politician, you have to go on everyone's podcasts. It's not about endorsing people. It's about the reality that this is how media gets out to people and gets out to voters. So I understand that idea. I think the issue we're going to find, and I think Humanist Report is making a good point here, is that playing this game of like, oh, why'd you go on this person's podcast or this person's? Obviously, Hassan, when saying America deserves 9/11, was talking about the fact that it's without a doubt obvious that we would have experienced this at some point, given the way that we go around ruining the world. We commit 9/11s in other people's universes every fucking day. It's bound to happen to ours, which is why we need to stop doing this to people. It's a sign that we need to stop hurting people. Okay, not to, because again, it doesn't matter. It's not good either way. It's evil when we sit there and we massacre each other and bomb each other and do horrible things to one another. But America cannot pretend and keep pretending like we are not doing this to people every day, that we don't have our hands in all these countries, that we are not contributing to genocide right now in multiple places. So again, like, we have to be very specific about realizing and being able to see Hassan's statement for what it is, which is more factual than we're willing to give it credit for. but it was packaged very poorly. And I understand as a streamer who said very similar things, my goal moving forward is to eradicate this way of speaking from my language while I'm at work, because I'm trying to come to work. Okay, I do this for a full-time living. This is my job. This is the only thing I do for a living. So I want to make sure that when I come to work, I'm holding a specific standard. Will the standard go viral? No. Will it be everyone's cup of tea? No. Will it fuel everyone's anger? No. I will never go and be as famous as any of these men because I refuse to act like any of them. And I want you to keep that in mind. That because I'm not engaging in these tactics, I will never be as popular as these men. And that is exactly why I know it's the right answer. Because no way was the right answer going to be what goes viral in the state of how destructive the world feels right now. And if your content is blowing up, being evil, by being hateful, by tweeting bitch at women on the internet, you're probably on the wrong side of history. So we have to pay attention to that. And I would rather die a good person than die a famous one. And I don't know about these people, though. These people feel like they want to die famous
than it was for Cuomo to go on his show, seeing as how Cuomo is a serial sexual harasser whose policies killed people in nursing homes during COVID. So, I mean, any of Logan Paul's scandals pale in comparison to Cuomo's scandals. But to go back to Hasan Piker, he's the first leftist content creator to achieve real mainstream success. You can argue that his uncle Cenk Uygur was the first one, but I mean, Hasan has reached new levels. And savvy Democratic politicians, they have to understand that his platform may be more useful in reaching young people than any other platform. Mainstream media, you name it. Like Hasan Piker is how you talk to young, motivated leftists who are politically active. And for what it's worth, Hasan's response to that controversy that the ad was based on speaks to how thoughtful he is as a person and why people watch him. Because even though it's easy to be turned off by what he said at face value, it's important to understand what he was talking about in the context and what happened in the lead up to that infamous clip.
Sure.
And I'm going to let him speak for himself because what he says here is important.
You said America deserved 9/11. Did you mean that?
No, obviously not, especially considering the fact that while that is a very viral quote that is going around currently, if those people were at least even remotely charitable or cared about the actual truth of what I was talking about, they would understand that within context, I was simply referencing the fact that all of the foreign policy decisions and our arming of insurgent groups in the region and our efforts in destabilizing the Middle East have a direct consequence, a boomerang effect, rather, if you will, in causing 9/11. Of course, every part of what I advocate for is against violence. I abhor violence. I think it's awful. And as a matter of fact, I was very frustrated with the fact that Dan Crenshaw, a person who 4 times voted nay on bills that would stop arming Saudi Arabia. He voted no 4 times on those bills. It would turn around and talk about the necessity for endless violence, and that this simply was happening because these people. This simply was happening because these people just hated us. They hated us because they hate us. I'm paraphrasing, but I thought that was awful. I thought that was horrific. Hillary Clinton has had a similar and correct opinion on this, talking about how we did fund Al-Qaeda and Noam Chomsky and numerous other academics on both sides of the political spectrum. I should have used more precise and better use of the language there. It's messed up that I would even give the opportunity to the right to try to morally grandstand on an issue like this when they are 100% responsible for all the bloodshed that has been caused. Even some other outlets in the mainstream media are also culpable in this circumstance. Look, 3,000 people died. And that's terrible. That is a horrific event.
Listen, cards on the table. I admit it is very hard for me to put aside my biases here because I deeply respect and admire all of these leftist content creators that I share a space.
That's the difference between him and I. No.
For me to put aside my biases here because I deeply respect and admire all of these leftist content.
I'm sorry. That is the difference. I do not respect or admire any of these people. Okay, so just to make it abundantly clear, I think you were absolutely sad excuses for people who want to change the world. But you keep going. Love you. Peace and love. Peace and love. Because if this is your idea of changing the world, you might as well have been any other man in history. You were doing literally nothing new. You're bringing nothing new to the table. Nothing is different. There's nothing different. Nothing is new. Everything is the same shit we've been trying time and time again. And a bunch of men will get all the credit, all the fame, all the money for doing absolutely nothing in the long term. Okay? But yet, and I understand that everyone is playing a role. And you can keep doing that, but what is respectable here? What is good here? What is helpful here? You know what I mean? Like, what is actually good here? I do not believe that. you know?
Creators that I share a space with. But the left's entire political project is to end wars and suffering, improve the quality of life for all human beings. So to me, bias aside, it rings hollow that the people who are perpetrating violence are so pissed off about edgy rhetoric from the left. Because, like, what's worse, words or actions? Hassan Piker said America deserved 9/11, whereas Netanyahu has committed dozens of...
I mean, words are actions. Calling somebody a slur is an action. Calling somebody a slur is an action. Calling a woman a bitch is a slur action. Calling a black person the N-word is an action. It's not just words. See? How do you not know this? How do you not know that words matter? What do you mean words don't matter? The right has used this for years, words. Trans people are sick. Black people are, black fatigue. All of these words weaponized against marginalized communities have been words followed by actions. Words are actions. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What's words? What's worse, words or actions? Both? How about all the kids that never got hit by their parents and their parents just talked to them bad? Oh yeah, your childhood abuse doesn't matter because all your parents did was yap at you. They didn't even hit you. That's what he sounds like. What's worse? Both? You know what I mean? What are you talking about?
11's himself on the people of Gaza. Kyle Kulinski may have poked fun at Charlie Kirk's widow, but Trump has illegally murdered 61 people he accused of drug trafficking without evidence, mind you. So if you support those murders and those people, if you're okay with a literal genocide, I'm sorry, you don't get to fucking feign outrage over naughty words from leftist content creators, period. Edgy jokes and shitposts aside though, leftists like Hassan and Kyle, they have consistent records advocating for policies that would save lives. And I think that matters more than the times that they've memed a little bit too close to the sun, if you ask me. But I do want to move on to Emma Vigeland, who dealt with
Oh my God. Discord said this man brought leftovers when we asked for freshly cooked food at the potluck. We hate to see it. I have never heard someone say that, but that is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. The visceral image I got in my head right away. I'm fucking dead.
Backlash, although to a much lesser extent, but I still want to play the clip of her on a panel on MSNBC because the smug condescension that the left has been facing for a long time now was...
Okay, hold on. Chat says sticks and stones are more dangerous, but the words are still violence on some level. Absolutely. So obviously, literally, there's a spectrum of harm being done, but you actually can't compare harm for this reason. Okay? A child being hit once... probably better than a child experiencing years and years of body shaming and slut shaming and intelligence shaming from their parents, right? Like ultimately, when we talk about, oh, would you rather have your parents say something really cruel to you one time or to spank you on the bottom? It's like, well, comparing the suffering, comparing the evil, it's not helpful when we shouldn't be doing either. Neither of it should be happening. That's the point. And you can say, oh, that's, again, it's too good to be true in society because we're still living on a spectrum. So yes, if I was having this conversation from a therapist perspective, which I wouldn't be because I'm not a therapist, I would say something like, you can't expect a client to come into my office and heal day one, right? Obviously, they would have to deconstruct and get better. But this is politics, baby. This is you showing up as a voice. And this is you saying, I admire all these people. Girl, I don't have time to admire these men who are so limited in their thinking. How could I admire someone so fucking basic? Come on, girl. There are so many other people doing so many other great things in the world. They're just not on YouTube even doing it. My neighbor is a more admirable person. My person at a local grocery store is more respectable to me than these streamers who get up here and talk about changing the world by calling women bitch on the internet. Come on now. Come on now. You're not doing anything, bro. You think you're doing something, and yes, you might be. And if I was talking to Republicans, by the way, I would fight for you and say you were doing something, but I'm talking to you outside of that. I'm pretending no conservatives are listening. I'm pretending no Republicans are listening to us. This is just us between each other. And I would lecture you like a sister would, okay? Stop it. But if, of course, a Republican was coming at me being like, what do you think about Hassan? I'd say Hassan is doing his role that he's supposed to. Okay, it's not up to standard, but it's better than what the Republicans are doing. But we're not talking to Republicans because our standard of good cannot be compared to theirs. So if you're going to sit there in your life and say, well, if the Republicans can do it, I can do it. That's not helpful. Your standard should be higher than theirs. And it should never, ever budge.
on full display, and they reacted this way in response to her correct commentary. And, you know, it's why people like myself in this space are so pissed off nonetheless. Here's what she said and how they responded.
Ezra Klein recently wrote for the New York Times that over the past 15 years, the Democratic Party has made room on its left and closed down on its right. For all the talk of what the Democratic Party should learn from Bernie Sanders and Zohran Mamdani, there should be at least as much talk of what they should learn from Manchin or Golden or Marie Perez or Sarah McBride. The party should be seeking more, not less, internal disagreement. Do you agree with that stance?
I mean, I don't know what reality Ezra Klein is living in, the fact that the Democratic Party has tacked to its left. In what universe? Yeah. The coalescing around Joe Biden in the 2020 primary, the besmirching of Bernie Sanders supporters, the eschewing of that movement in 2016, and even in this current moment with Zohran Mamdani, who has been a shot in the arm for the Democratic Party, you still have Chuck Schumer refusing to endorse him, and Hakeem Jeffries' endorsement is lukewarm at best. There is a fight right now within the Democratic Party, and Ezra Klein is representing a floundering corporatist centrist flank that is increasingly irrelevant in the party, and he's trying to carry water for them in the Times. I mean, I think it's a lucrative thing to do, but it's not necessarily matching the reality.
I love it. I'm so excited to disagree with you. I do.
Yeah,
I disagree more. The point Ezra's trying to make is that it takes two wings to fly. And he's trying to say the Democrats need to build a Big Ten. And he's not saying you got to choose between Zohran Mamdani and Bernie Sanders in the centrist wing. He's saying Democrats need to compete in more places. You raised a stat earlier that I think is the key one. Why, when Donald Trump's numbers are plummeting among independent voters, he's got 48% strong disapproval. How come the Democratic Party's approval rating is lower as a brand
because
than
of the muddled message that I was just trying to elucidate.
So you believe it's because they're not far left enough?
No, I believe that there is
No, they're just not right enough. You're on the wrong side of history. Period. That's what it is. You're on the wrong side of history. You're not moving forward. You're not progressing as a nation. You're not even offering people a rainbow over the horizon. Like, you're not doing that. When Trump says make America great again, he's promising a nostalgic feeling that people know what to look for. At least Democrats could do the opposite and offer them a future they could dream of. But you can't even do that. You don't even know how to offer the people a dream they could look forward to. So the best thing they have to settle for is a dream they used to know. You underestimate how powerful nostalgia is. You also underestimate how much hope it matters. Okay? Barack Obama didn't run on hope for nothing. It's a very powerful tool. It's what keeps people alive during a genocide. People maintain their resilience through hope. You have to maintain hope, and the Democrats are not doing that. They're so bad at it, and it's because we know they don't even believe it themselves. They are just fucking getting paid, girl, and that's what's bullshit about it. They compromised all of these years in the worst situations, time and time again, expose themselves as just shitty, politicians. We need philosophers. We need leaders. We need people who are willing to guide us into a progressive future. Again, a future where everyone gets to exist in a way that is safe, in a way that offers housing and food and education, in a way that doesn't take away SNAP benefits from people, in a way that gets people health care. Even my Republican family keeps talking about how disgusting health care is. Girl, that's our in and you're wasting it. Republicans regular people want healthcare figured out. They're dying under the weight of their healthcare. They are literally suffering. These mainstream politicians, these Republicans, they're so easily able to twist the narrative to their viewers. But if Democrats would just actually listen to people, they'd realize the Republicans are angry over this. Conservatives are angry over this. My brother, who has 5 children, he pays up the butt for healthcare for those kids. And he's just it's crazy. It's crazy how much money I am spending. And I'm like, exactly. He's like, I think everyone should have healthcare. And I'm like, oh, this is a big deal. Young Republican people who have families, young people, young 30 and younger, who have families. Okay, he's 32 with 5 kids. Okay, he makes a really good living. He's doing very well for himself. But even he's like, man, I think people deserve healthcare. Hello? Why do you think the killing of the CEO, the healthcare CEO, brought us together for just a hot second? That even when Ben Shapiro got out to talk shit on Luigi, which I could talk shit on Luigi every day. He's a man. I have so much to say about it. Listen, when Ben Shapiro did it, even his audience was like, hold up. Actually, though, healthcare is kind of stressful. And you're that's what I'm saying. You're not listening to people. People are deeply struggling. It is very hard out here. Well, you are sitting here on your fucking White House parties, your Great Gatsby parties, while you're sitting here in your fucking $500 suits. Come on, bro. Come on. Okay? Chatter, I'm going to block you for your own sake because you feel like you're in the wrong class. Okay. You said, what did the healthcare CEO do wrong? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and block you because you feel like you're in the wrong class.
Be a different approach to politics here, not building a tent and saying we don't necessarily stand for anything, including Ezra advocating for saying that we should run anti-abortion Democrats in red states. So let's throw trans people under the bus. Let's throw women under the bus. Let's just do anything except
if you want to see territory, though.
No,
I think he's talking about being practical.
Yes, and trying to expand the map. That's what needs to happen here. Is if Democrats are how do you expand the map? Is you win in Ohio and you win in Pennsylvania and you win in West Virginia.
There's more, but I want to
Win. Everybody wants to win the game. Nobody knows why we're playing it. I feel like I'm in a Saw movie, and y'all keep playing the game instead of asking like, what the fuck are we doing here? You're like, we should win the game. I'm like, or what are we even doing here? Why am I even in this position? What is happening?
Pause right there because that really pissed me off. The reaction to Emma Vigeland being there, the smug, indignant response to what she said, the laughter to her commentary as if what she was saying was preposterous. I mean, this is why we cannot stand you people, right? What Emma is saying here is common sense, and it's what we've all been saying on the left for more than a decade now.
I can't believe he just said common sense. What is this, a Republican podcast? Common sense. Politics is such a joke. Y'all are such a joke. I love you. I watch The Humanist Report pretty often, but this particular video just set me off this morning, and I was like, Habibi, what is this? What is this video?
And if you don't see what she's saying as the obvious truth, then I don't know what to tell you. You just don't want to win, right? You can't win elections by shifting to the right. Republicans have a monopoly on right-wing and center-right voters. You cannot beat fascism with more milquetoast centrism. You need an equally radical alternative to compete with the so-called populism that's being pushed by the right. Socialism is the antidote to fascism, not neoliberalism, to the chagrin of all of the dipshits on the panel there. And the rising prominence of left-wing commentators like Emma Vigeland is the result of centrist Democrats who actually want to win getting desperate enough to finally hear us out. Because, we've been pitching some alternative strategies and nobody's been listening. But now that we have a fascist in charge and we lost democracy, maybe you start to listen to the people who were once viewed as kooky, right? But as you saw, they became indignant at the common sense recommendations that Emma was making, even though what she's...
I don't understand, though, how you're advocating to be better than the Democrats, but then like backing Kyle Kulinski, calling a woman a bitch on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's like on one side of their mouth, it's like, oh, we want to be progressive. Okay. But on the, we'll say conservative, on the other side of his mouth, he's like, we should be progressive. Also, she's a bitch. And I'm like, okay, well, hold on. Who calls women bitch in a derogatory sense coming from a man towards a woman? Okay, maybe liberals, definitely, but definitely shouldn't be progressives. I think if you're a progressive and you embody progressive philosophy, you shouldn't be calling women bitch or the R word. Kyle Kulinski also called the president the R word. So they're saying the R word, they're saying the B word. Okay, what other words are we saying on Twitter? What other ways are we showing up on Twitter in a position of, quote, leadership / power / prominence? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Discord said, we need to be progressive in a conservative way. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Sarcasm. Exactly. It's like, why are you talking about being better than the Democrats or the liberals by being more Republican? Chad says this guy we were watching called Trump R word. Kyle Kulinski did. So this is the Humanist Report in the beginning. And behind him with the bleached hair, that's Kyle Kulinski. He called him a fat R word. So then he body shamed him and fat phobia and R word. Like, girl, speak to your friends in private where you're all fucking taking shots and talking shit. But why are you showing up at work looking like a fool? Why are we showing up at work this way? Now listen to me when I say this. I know that people are going to start being like, well, what about you, Brittany? What about you? I know, girl. I'm working on it. I'm not 40 yet, but I'm going to get there. Okay? That's the thing. Chatter, don't say the R word in my chat when I just said don't say it. Okay? This isn't like, no. Okay? So I'm going to delete this comment. You can try again. Don't use the R word in my chat. Okay? And I'm about to ban the B word. Okay? I'm about to. I'm this fucking close. Okay? And I might. Honestly, by the end of this year, I'm probably going to ban it. So just so you know. Because I can't trust you guys with it. You are not responsible enough. The internet is not responsible enough. Okay? You are not responsible enough to be using this word. Because you have the audacity to be a Kyle Kulinski on Twitter calling women a bitch. You are not responsible enough. And now you can't have it. See how you ruin it for the rest of us? Thank you.
saying is being confirmed by reality as we speak. I mean, look at Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico. Look at Lula da Silva in Brazil. Look at FDR's New Deal reforms. You have to meaningfully address people's material conditions in order to win elections. But I do want to get back to the discussion before I go, too in the weeds here, because they're going to make the same tired Big Tent argument that we've heard 100 times, only to get smacked down again by Emma Vigeland. So let's watch.
As much as Democrats hate Joe Manchin, he was the only Democrat who could win statewide office.
I'm sorry, but Joe Manchin helped kill the child tax credit, which is the reason the Democrats are lagging behind in affordability right now.
But would it have been better if there were a Republican in that seat?
If the Democrats want to orient themselves behind a working class coalition and use that as the base, that is how you build a durable coalition, not the one that has lost to Trump multiple times.
But if you look at the track record of like Sunrise and Justice Dems and these other, more populist progressive groups,
the base wasn't there. Now the base is there. The base is
They have not gained a single seat
because of the institutional pushback from the Democratic Party. And
because
right
of
now
the voters.
The voters
are part of their.
I do, to Emma's point, I do think that there is, when you're just looking top.
Okay, you're going to be banned now because you keep using the word in my chat. What are you doing, bro? I gave you literal chances. Okay, I gave you multiple chances. Now you're banned because you can't keep from saying the word in my chat. I just said don't say it. I gave you a warning. I gave you a chance. You see what you did, and now you're banned again. Don't use that word in my chat.
Down from the most powerful figures in the Democratic Party establishment. There is a pattern of them being much more accepting of the rightward flank than the left side of the flank.
Look, there's been a long struggle over, go back to 1977, I'll just go nerd out, Moynihan versus Bell Abzug. There are deep divisions inside the Democratic Party that get played out. There are good principled fights over policy. Those are legitimate fights and disagreements. And for a lot of folks, a member of the DSA who's never held a job or never had an executive experience.
Assemblyman's a job.
Not a job in the private sector. You're right.
I don't care about that, though. He has a job.
That's the problem.
Right.
It's worth caring.
I like how this headline at the bottom of this news thing says Hillary Clinton on whether she'd vote for Mamdani, and it says, I don't vote in this city. First of all, who the fuck cares what Hillary Clinton thinks? God bless her. You know what I mean? With peace and love, 2016, she was my vote. But like, what does that matter now? When we're not liberals and we're progressives, I don't care who Hillary Clinton's going to vote for. This woman is not to be trusted. Like, you know what I mean? As we move towards like a more progressive future. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like people aren't paying attention. It doesn't matter who Hillary Clinton would vote for. And also her doing this just shows why she can't be trusted. What do you mean I don't vote in this city?
Caring about whether someone's ever had a job in the private sector. It's worth caring about whether they've had an executive experience.
No, it's not. Voters in New York rejected Cuomo's experience from
Hold on, guys. Who are these chatters in my chat? You said the Republicans literally want to kill me and my family. Democrats winning prevents that from happening. Okay, just a reminder, this is a philosophy channel. Just a reminder, we are queer, okay? We are progressive. We are deconstructing. We are doing our best. Yes, I agree that Republicans are bigoted and Republicans are people that are targeting minorities and people. Putting your eggs all in the Democrats' basket is not the answer. It is technically a better villain to fight than Republicans, but they are still not on your side. They are not on your side. They are only on your side when it benefits them. The Democratic Party is only as good as we hold them accountable to. And the Republicans, okay, them being worse than the Democrats is not helpful. But sure, I vote Democrat. I hear you. I understand, okay? But Democrat or progressive to progressive, we also have and continue to have problems with the Democrats. And if you're on this channel and you're a Democrat and you think the Democratic Party is the best thing that's ever happened, with peace and love, go somewhere else. Figure it out, girl. I'll fight for you while you're busy being mad. I will continue to fight for you and fight for your right to get, health care and stability and housing. But the Democrats will never give you that. They are absolutely going to be in the way of that. But I will keep continuing to fight for that because the Democrats were also the first ones to throw gay people under the bus when it's convenient for them. Remember that. And as a queer person who was around before the Democrats even got on board with homosexuals, just so you fucking know, I was there. And I remember the Democrats being the way they were. And I remember how it felt. And I remember the way we all tried to play a fucking game. And I remember the way we all tried to be like, be a normal gay. And maybe the Democrats will support us. It wasn't long ago that the Democrats threw us under the bus time and time again. So again, we are not here to love the Democrats. We are just here to point it out, right? You said that's exactly what Mike, Kyle, and Emma are saying here. Again, I am talking to progressives. You are not to go as low as Republicans in order to fight for marginalized communities. The whole point of this video is to remind people that the premise of this video is that we are allowed to be racist, homophobic, throw around slurs because that's what Republicans do. And I'm saying no. You cannot do these things just because Republicans are doing it. Okay? So yes, I know these people get up here and talk about how much they hate the Democrats, but you're acting like a Republican, so make it make sense. Okay? Make it make sense, please. Thank you.
Mamdani's policies. In 2016, Americans literally chose to elect a reality TV show star over Hillary.
Okay, you're doing it again, chat. You said no. You used. Okay, stop using the R word. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, you said I know saying queer used to be just like saying, you saying queer used to be like saying the word R word, and now people say it correctly. I consider it a slur. Okay, you're gonna be banned because I said not to use the R word in my chat. Okay. We're obviously reclaiming the word queer and it's become more normalized. But if you attack somebody by calling them a queer, it's a slur, like the R word. In what context are you using the R word where it's not a slur? Okay? And in which context are you calling someone the R word without it being a slur? The only time, okay, queer is a slur is when you throw it at people that way. Otherwise, just saying like, oh yeah, this person is queer is not a slur. Okay? It's just true. Okay, so you need to get it together. Chet said, what's happening today? It's the fucking topic. This topic brings out the worst people in the world. Boys and politics, because these people are not thinking. They're not deconstructing. They're not being philosophical. Okay, that's just normal. That happens. I know when I came into work today, I told my partner, I was like, work's going to be crazy today. It's going to bring in the crazy bubbles. And this is it, girl. The bubbles that are in this, like, we can say a slur, and this is what language is. We know the R word used to be normalized. It's still normalized in lots of bubbles. I'm saying we're moving it out. It's not going to be normalized anymore. Forget it. Okay? Just like we do with the language along the years. We're over it. We're not using it anymore. Okay? I understand it was a hard transition for me too. We're over it. Queer, back in. Because that's how language works. Language is a construct. We're adapting and shifting the construct based off the times. And every time you use a word within a construct, you're signaling to the groups. And I'm saying using the R word signals liberal or conservative because progressives are opting out of using it. So when you use it, you're signaling who you are. Learn the dog whistles, bro. It's literally like learn the dog whistle. Okay? Discourse that are people seriously using the same talking points as white people trying to police black people from using the N-word? Well, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Okay?
Clinton, who was the most qualified presidential candidate ever. Like, what you're saying is bullshit. You can't wish cast a strategy on the electorate and hope that it works, especially when it's been proven wrong again and again and again. Now, as for that lady's, point about Joe Manchin, she doesn't understand that Democrats like Joe Manchin tarnish the party's brand. If his policies are indistinguishable from the GOP's policies, then it doesn't really matter if he has a D next to his name now, does it? I mean, sure.
Chad says who rules do you enforce? You want to change too much that you stifle it? Bro, don't make me burp into my mic right now as retaliation. Listen to me when I say this. You have to understand the world's a construct created by biological creatures evolved over millions of years. It's all just a let's see what fits into this puzzle, bro. Like you're acting and sitting here like you know what objective morality is when we know we don't know that. We're doing our best. But right now, it seems to be not the best to call people slurs on Twitter. I think we figured that out. Congratulations, we all graduated middle school. Calling people slurs on Twitter, not in. Whoa, big deal, bro. Look how easy my request is and how hard y'all are fighting for it. Stop throwing slurs around on Twitter. How hard is that, bro?
Or he helped Chuck Schumer maintain the gavel in the Senate, but them not doing enough with that power led to Americans feeling disillusioned with the party again. And think about whether or not Republican voters would ever accept the same strategy or excuse. Like, do you think Donald Trump would be okay with a Republican being pro-choice or pro-Medicare for all in order to become more electorally viable in California? That would never, ever fly. They would rather lose than let rhinos tarnish their brand because they understand the importance of ideological cohesion and consistency. I mean, imagine how easy it'd be if all Democrats just supported one policy on healthcare. Medicare for all. It's an easy pitch, right? You vote for Democrats, you get Medicare for all. You save 68,000 lives every single year. The problem is that we can't do that. We can't make that pitch because if somebody asks, hey, what's the party's stance on healthcare? You've got to explain how, well, some support additional ACA subsidies while others believe in a public option that could devolve into a two-tiered system where the rich and the poor have different standards of care. Although, some support Medicare for all, which is healthcare that's free at the point of service. You can't do that. It's not going to work. Like if you have to explain the internal division within your party to the average voter, you're going to be a lot less persuasive than you would if you just said Democrats support Medicare for all, period. Here's what that means. But we can't do that. We can't do that because so many Democrats refuse to unlatch from the teats of the health insurance donors that got them elected. So we're held back by the most butt-off dipshits in the party who are trying to pass off their corruption as sound strategy. But nobody's buying it anymore. Hence why leftist content creators like Emma are suddenly sounding a lot more reasonable to MSNBC's.
What did Emma just do on Twitter that we covered the other day? Who remembers? she was playing defense for somebody that I was like, why are you playing defense for this person? Who was it? Does anybody remember? And I watched the Majority Report. I watched them. I like them. But what was it? What was it? Why can't I remember?
More audience than they were before. It's why former MSNBC hosts like Joy Reid agree with us, even though.
Oh yeah, the Graham guy, the Nazi tattoo guy. What a loser take, bro. Yeah, the Nazi tattoo. Jesus Christ, guys, come on. That's what I'm saying. You can't be the guy. Sorry. You can't be the guy. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, oh, progressives want it to be perfect. I'm so sorry that we want somebody who wasn't stupid enough to get a Nazi tattoo, / keep the tattoo, / cover it up in the worst way possible, / oh my God, the bare minimum, bro. I cannot believe this bare minimum we are asking is too much for you. And you want to act like, oh my God, we're the issue? Hello, you can't even do the bare minimum.
She was once a sworn enemy to the online left and the Bernie bros because everything that we've been saying has been proven. It's been validated. Whereas everything that the centrists said that would work has put us on a one-way path towards fascism. And here we are. But as frustrating as things are right...
and he was also a mercenary. Like, the guy has a bad reputation generally, and y'all ate him up like no joke. What?
Now, the one silver lining is that, you know, people like Emma and Hassan and Kyle and myself to a lesser extent...
Chat says, I'm going to block you now, Habibi. Thank you for being here. You're in the wrong class. Sounds like a religious mother in the 90s who didn't like the word heck. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and block you. You know what was interesting about this? Because this is so funny. I understand that if you hear me talk, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm like that conservative mother who hates the word fuck. Here's the difference. Because I thought liberation out of Republican and being a conservative when I was a teenager was learning to say slurs. I thought liberation was saying fuck. I thought liberation was saying bitch. But the truth is, y'all are not a safe space to use these words that have been weaponized against people to take away their rights. Okay? So you are not a safe space. And we are going to put limitations on your language because you're not responsible enough with it. Just like guns. Okay? I wish I could give you guns, but you're obviously not good enough to use them. You're not smart enough. You literally use them to ruin people's lives. So obviously you're not responsible enough. Okay? Gun control. Language control. Well, I wanted to live in a world where I could give it to you. I want to live in a world where I can trust you with these things. You are not responsible enough with your words or with your guns. So no, you can't just have them.
Are finally gaining prominence in American politics because everybody else has been so goddamn wrong. Where politicians and pundits are now asking us for our input. And that's a new thing, right? And it's unfortunate that things had to get so bad for them to finally take us seriously. But the fact that we're now making our way into mainstream media and even driving news cycles tells me that enough people have finally had their break glass in case of emergency moment, with us being the ones being kept behind glass.
Chat says, we're not going to ban fuck, are we? No, fuck can stay until it becomes a slur, and then we are going to ban it. Fuck is staying. Okay? We're keeping fuck. Okay? We're keeping shit. We're keeping damn. But, okay? If somebody starts to co-opt it for some racist shit, we're blocking it.
And, you know, they're finally letting us out in hopes that we can save the country now that we're in this emergency. So the increased scrutiny that we're all suddenly receiving speaks to our growing relevance in American politics, which is bad news for fascists because unlike centrists that they're used to, we don't fucking back down. We double down. And I can assure you that we're not going to stop talking our shit. So I commend all of the individuals that I talked about here for pissing off Republicans, because if you're doing that, then you're doing something right. And I get that that's a cliche, but when you have people as demonic as Republicans, no, you really are doing something right if you piss them off.
It's like, you know,
not happy.
Let me read his chat because I'm curious what his comment section says. Basically, the right wingers can dish it, but they can't take it. But we knew that. I've known that my whole life. One thing I've always known about the right is they can dish it, but they can't take it. But then why would we dish it in a way that makes us just like them? Okay. Chat says, or his chat says, to upset a liberal, tell a lie. To upset a MAGA fan, tell the truth. You're being self-righteous. You're putting yourself on a pedestal and then engaging in bad behavior. You don't put yourself on a pedestal if you actually don't engage in bad behavior, but also take yourself off that pedestal and humble yourself. So like, I understand the desire in your privacy in your home with your friends to talk mad shit on people. I understand at home in privacy with our therapists, we have to use words that maybe we would never use in real life to express the deep emotions we are feeling. What does this mean when you're doing it when you come to work? Okay. When you show up at the office, you're basically showing up to the office and calling women bitch. Listen, I understand that the dream people have about being a YouTuber is that it's like not a job. But it is actually, hear me out, a job. And if we're going to be serious about our jobs and the fact that we have a microphone, then we should probably stop calling bitch at work, like women bitch at work. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably not fucking appropriate. And we might not have an HR team, but if we did, girl, we'd be fired. Okay? So again, I want to get away from it. I'm going to eradicate it from my language, especially at work. Again, what I'm talking about at work, I'm talking about as public figures. I am not talking about you at your house. You fucking go call whatever. You're going to use your language. As long as you've deconstructed it, you do it. In safe spaces where we're all gay, you use whatever. I don't give a fuck. But I'm talking about as public figures online in a position of privilege and power. How are we all going to show up to work today is the question. And look, it's going to take me a while to change my language, to get more professional. But I guarantee you by 40, Brittany's going to be a new bitch. Okay? You see the joke I made there? You see the joke I made there? Okay. Okay? I'm giving myself time. But when I get there, and same with these boys, okay? 40 is your limit, girl. By the time you are 40, y'all better get your shit together. Okay, who's 40? Is Kyle Kalinske 40 yet? Kyle Kalinske. Okay, he's not there yet. By the time we're 40, girl. By the time we're 40.